What's up, everybody? It's the Tabletop Tyrant. So, if you've been seeing the channel, I've been uploading some off-style videos and our army breakdowns. I am not going to be known as the only army breakdown guy. For me, there's lots of other stuff to this hobby that I thoroughly enjoy, and I want to share that with y'all too. And I will continue doing army breakdowns. This is not an army breakdown. This is more like going over a list where you can get the models, stuff like that. So why am I moving... why am I not doing the army breakdowns? Mostly I have a ton of family coming in from out of town. It's been a very busy last couple weeks. Just little life things that kind of add up and kind of, you know, take time away. So obviously when I have time, I make these videos and try to get them cared for. And then on top of it too, I'm taking on the Heresy Reignited series that I'm about to start as soon as Adepticon's over. So moving forward from that, what is this? So a big question I get in my videos, I just got one on my Dark Elf video, where can I find models? So today we're going to talk about 1,250 point lists that I built. We're going to talk about where you can find models, and we're going to talk about if you want to run things that maybe aren't around, conversions I've seen people do, or conversions that I've thought about doing. Now without further ado, let's do this. So, the Warriors of Chaos is a really unique army. A lot of people would say they're elite, hard-hitting. One thing you'll lack in a Chaos army is any type of shooting unless you take a Hell Cannon. And honestly, having play-tested the Hell Cannon, it's not something you need to take. I wouldn't personally take it unless you like the aesthetic of it. You know, when you look at things like Chaos Chosen Knights or Chaos Warriors, even with heavy armor, Chaos Lords, there's a lot of stuff you can take, chimeras, monsters. The option is endless when it comes to running Warriors of Chaos in terms of what you can take, as long as you're not looking to take anything ranged. Now, why do I play the Warriors of Chaos? I like heavy armor dudes. I like the fact that they're in full plate. I like the fact that they're mean. There's just a lot of things to really enjoy. Aside from that, they got some pretty fantastic lore. You got the different marks of gods. You have Undivided. Lots of combinations you can do. And then one other thing that makes the Warriors of Chaos stand out is their ability to run a lot of monsters if you want. Now, for me, I'm not going to sit here and pass this channel off as I'm going to be the ultimate competitive gamer, alright? We can do it, we can play competitively, but I get my jimmies off when I'm playing a good, fun game with models I actually want to paint on the tabletop. So I might see validity in things that you don't, it's just how it is. Now moving forward, one thing I like, and a lot of people are like, just take a Sorcerer Lord in your army. I'm not a big Chaos Sorcerer Lord dude. I think if I'm going to run an army of badasses, I gotta have a badass general. I don't want no sorcerer that reads books in charge of my army. I want a Chaos Lord. And a Chaos Lord on some sort of dragon mount something. So the Chaos Lord and Demonic mount here is actually a really fantastic model for it. Now it does fit on a 30 by 40 millimeter, which is the smallest base you can do, and I would do it on that personally. Keep the base as long as it fits to the minimum you can go. Just rule of thumb, I think, for me. But really beautiful model. I'll be painting them up on the channel here in a time-lapse video one of these days, whenever I can get caught up on my Dragon Ogre Shaggoth over there. So really awesome model, and then with it I took the Demonic mount, so the horse, an Ogre Blade, and the Ruby Ring of Ruin. It's a preferential thing. I like the strength that the Ogre Blade gives, but I also like being able to cast Fireball. I think it's just a cool spell. I always take it. Whether it's good or not, it's freaking sweet. Now, the last one, I kind of had a hard time looking for my last character. Now, you can do a Sorcerer, but the one here is super duper derp. I mean, you could grab Tzeentch if you wanted to give it a mark, but its Undivided Sorcerer is really odd, and I'm not a big fan of it personally. This one, it has derp face, derp horns coming out of its head. I don't know what those are, the hillbilly teeth from Simple Jack, you know, Tropic Thunder. That's what I see, Simple Jack with horns, man. You don't want this dude. So what you can do, so going over to Games Day, yeah, it's a bit more, yes, it's pewter, but I will say this model is just a freaking fantastic sculpt. I like it. I love running it. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to paint, and I recommend this one above all else. Maybe if you're gonna run a Sorcerer Lord, you might want to shell out the extra 20 bucks. Because this one, yeah, 18. So the price is right, and you can always do a head swap. But I just think the pose is kind of lame. When I think Chaos Sorcerer, this dude, yeah, dude, improve your experience somewhere else. When this dude's on the table, you just get like an actual look of like maybe like the Gotrek Felix books when they're talking about sorcerers. I don't know. That's what comes to my head. Very bestial, very tainted. Eyeballs. I don't know. What do you guys think? I like this one. What about y'all? Moving on. So I went with Chaos Warriors. Now, Chaos Warriors, if you've played 8th edition, have changed. If you've played any editions before 8th edition, they're back to how they used to be in a sense. They're heavy armor, which is a good thing. Now, I played a lot of Warriors of Chaos back in 8th Ed, up until this edition dropped, actually. And one thing I hated when I played them was that it really did give my friends a good run for their money when going up against them. Especially if you wanted to really cheese it, you took like a brick of 40 with Mark of Nurgle. It was just kind of rough, man. No one likes that. But hey, when you're going to compete, there's a way to play to win, right? You're not going to go to a competition to lose. But one thing I do like is now they have heavy armor, so even with heavy armor shield, you're still looking at a 4-up armor save, which is good. It helps you survive a bit from shooting. But personally, my favorite way, as of right now, to run my Chaos Warriors is additional hand weapon, Mark of Khorne. Pump out as much damage as you can, and just absolutely pummel whoever you're going up against. It's going to absolutely decimate the first rank of whoever you touch. You're going to want to hit that charge, and being Mark of Khorne, you're going to have Frenzy, so an additional attack, but you're going to be forced to hit that charge on the way it goes. Now, that's not bad if you think about it. Now, I run 17, I believe it's 6x3. So I run 17, I'll throw the Chaos Lord in there if he's on foot. If not, I'll put the Exalted Sorcerer in there. For this Exalted Sorcerer, I threw him on a Chaos Chariot because I like the speed and maneuverability. But that's all up to you. I think running characters as independents is really good this edition, personally. But back to the Warriors. So the big thing is you're going to want to make sure that you're going to hit that hit if you give them the Mark of Khorne. Nurgle, it's okay. Mark of Nurgle is just going to allow people that roll an unmodified 6 roll to re-roll it, which is alright. I didn't really look too hard into Tzeentch and Slaanesh. They're not like my type of thing, personally, and honestly, I paint enough blue. I've painted enough blue in commissions for 1,000 Suns and everything else for 40k that it's kind of like done me in. And I have a feeling when Emperor's Children, if they come out this year, I'll be pretty much done in with the purple for 40k guys. But yeah, and then 20 Chaos Marauders. I gave them light armor shields, Mark of Chaos Undivided, Marauder Chieftain, and Standard Bearer. And if you want, again, Avatars of War used to make Marauders in a 16 kit of plastic. I use them because they're a little more detailed, but I don't think they're in production anymore, so you can kind of go through and use any of these if you really want nice ones. I could see if you're going for like an undivided look and you really wanted to chill out, like if money was no object, because it is for me, you could use these guys as Marauders. You could use them as Warriors even if you wanted to. And then you can kind of go through here, look at the war bands, look at all that. You can really kind of theme it to however you really want, given the fact that they're kind of tribal. Or you can go through and convert your own. The original Marauder kit, I don't know if it's still here, this has been around for forever. And actually, I remember they used to come on 20mm squares. The 8th edition, they got bumped up to 25, so everything kind of could be on the same base size. Now they're on 25mm squares still, so they've maintained that base size, which is kind of funny seeing them just go through the time of bases. These are all right. The person that painted these definitely did a good job because the kits are very old. You know, I don't know. They remind me of the Catechins, kind of, just like Derp a little, but we all have our own taste. I'm just not a big fan of Derp, you know? But anyways, I take my Marauders. I pretty much try to tie something down in combat with them so my Warriors can kind of get up there. Marauders are almost like a shield or a throwaway unit that I'll try to just get out of the way and kind of use against other people. They can definitely hold their own if you give them flails or even great weapons. If you do give them great weapons, be sure to try to hit that on the charge so you're at least like initiative 4 with those great weapons, maybe striking before something else. But for me, it's more of like a shielding unit to kind of get things to block someone's movement or get my guys in a better position, my chosen or my warriors, to really just lay the hate down on somebody. And then the last thing I'm taking is a unit of Chaos Chosen Knights. I like the Chosen Knights because they get full plate, right? So full plate, shield, barded. I believe they're like a 2-up save. Ones always fail. Lances are nice because they offer that additional strength and AP on the turn in which they charge, and it comes in handy because unlike regular knights and troops, they get countercharged. So they're able to countercharge the enemy and just hit them really freaking hard. Now these models are what I use for my Chaos Chosen Knights. Maybe you've been in the hobby for a while, you have the older knights, you know, if you decide to run like a majority knight army, you could run the traditional knights with no cloaks or the pewter ones and then add these as chosen. Up to you how you want to handle it. Again, 65 bones, it's expensive. Now, one thing that I've seen people kind of getting in on that are like, hey, I really want to play this army, but I want to pay Age of Sigmar prices. It's like, unfortunately, unless you're going to print or buy from third party or maybe find a lot on eBay, like this is the only option as of right now to get into Warriors of Chaos if you're looking to just buy new in box from the company. The next army slated to come out is Orcs and Goblins, and we don't even have a date on when they're coming out. So just a little FYI on that. If you want the traditional mono pose, again, eBay is a good place to look. Maybe check Etsy. Some people throw stuff up there. Facebook, buy, swap, sell sites. Anything like that, they probably got some people floating around. Just make sure if you're buying from somebody not through an app, you do it in PayPal as goods and services, not friends. I've been seeing a lot of people getting scammed on buy, trade, sell sites. So just be aware of that and, you know, make sure you're doing your due diligence to not get scammed. Now, I want to go into kind of like some other units, right? Now, Chaos has the ability to take Chaos Ogres, Chaos Trolls. I really personally love the Chaos Ogres. Getting that Ogre charge is nice. Having things with multiple wounds is nice. And for the biggest factor, anyone that's played previous editions knows Ogres are pretty good. They're worth their weight, you know? So it'll be a unit that draws people's attention, making them change their plan a little bit. I like that because I don't put all my stock in the Ogres. Their job is to go bully something, maybe make the opponent change his game plan, put him in a good position. Maybe they'll be destroyed at the end of the game, but it's to help me set my troops up to be doing charges that I want them to do. Nice thing is too, you can tie something up, and hopefully, because you have all those wounds and all those attacks and all that strength, you're able to pummel your opponent with it. So that's a good thing on top of it. Chaos Trolls, I think are okay, but the regen is kind of wonk. Mostly because everything seems to have flaming attacks this edition, and you're probably not going to get as much use out of that regen as you would have in maybe previous editions. But aside from Chaos Trolls and Ogres, like they're pretty beefy units. They're really good to have. One thing I see a lot of people running is Forsaken. Now, Forsaken used to have a kit, but now they don't because they got kind of axed when Age of Sigmar came about. So what I've seen people do is they'll take the 40k Accursed Cultist, and if you want, you could shave the pouches off or put them more in line with the setting. I don't know how you would fix that, maybe paint them as stakes. But people use the big dudes as spawns, and then they use the little ones as Forsaken, and they'll put up a couple units of spawn and one unit of 10 Forsaken. It seems like it works pretty good. It looks okay. It's fine. Personally, I don't see an issue with it, but it does look like a decent unit that's worth taking. Now, as far as everything else, you can go different marks when it comes to Warriors of Chaos. You can go the Mark of Khorne, which has a wide variety. You can even use these as the Hounds, the Chaos Warhounds. You know, you got your champions. Skull Reapers don't exist. A demonic mount with a Chaos Lord. You know, your Marauders, your freaking Blood Warriors can be Chaos Warriors chosen. And the nice thing is they have the weapon option for great weapons. So if you want to run great weapons, no armor, just run in there, beat the crap out of your opponent. These dudes have the kit for it. Moving on, of course, there's the other marks, but Tzeentch, minus like the Curseling or Village, if you will, they don't really have a whole lot that offers. You could run this weak-ass Sorcerer. I don't know. Maybe some Marauders, some Chicken Marauders. I don't know. Their range doesn't really go too well for the Warriors of Chaos Tzeentch. And then same thing with like Slaanesh. You know, with Hellstriders being gone, you could run them as Marauder Horsemen and stuff like that. But again, you're kind of really pushing it. You know, like the Bliss Barb Seekers. There's no options for archery in the Warriors of Chaos, so this unit would be pretty much useless. This unit would be useless. You could use these maybe as Marauders on on Cav with throwing javelins, but at the end of the day, you're gonna be hard pressed to use this. And again, you could use this dude as a sorcerer, not a bad one. You know, it's hard. Chosen, but again, you're paying $60 for 5. So I mean, it's like, ooh, is the price really worth going through? And you're probably gonna want to run like at least a unit of 15, 16. You know, so I mean, you know, that adds up. That's $180. You know, just buying 3 boxes of it. And then moving to the last one is Nurgle. Now, Nurgle, you could get away with that being Nurgle Sorcerer. You know, you could get away with that being Nurgle Champion. You know, personally, I like this one a little better. But the hard thing is there's no, like, regular infantry. And again, you could go about and claim these as Chosen because they're on the 30 mil. They might fit pretty decent. I don't know. I haven't tried. But, again, you're paying $60 for 5, you know. And, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like you'd be able to do a lot with this range as well. The nice thing about the traditional Slaves to Darkness is these guys stayed really true and really held up to the look of a Warrior of Chaos throughout the edition. And I think that that's really freaking sweet and awesome that we're able to at least have that. So again, not trying to make this super long, trying to just kind of keep it a little short. This is my list. If any of you have any questions or anything you would change, let me know down below. The army breakdowns are going to be postponed till my family is gone. They don't leave for another week. So we're going to be maintaining, maybe doing things like this a little bit more frequently because it's easier to get up than going through doing a PowerPoint, writing all this stuff down and really crunching the numbers on it. Everyone, I want to thank you for your time, and I appreciate you guys coming in and tuning into this. If you guys did any bids on my stuff, thank you. I appreciate it. There'll probably be another couple lots up coming up like next week. I want to finish painting one of the Warriors of Chaos armies I want to sell. But yeah, anyways, thank y'all for that. Thank y'all for being subscribed, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Peace.